Rachel, and I'm super excited today to tell you all about chicken farming and give you a tour of my chicken barn. Just like 97% of farms here in Manitoba, ours is family owned and operated. I am the third generation to work on our family grain farm and chicken farm. I currently work with my parents and my two brothers. So as you can see behind me, these two bins is where we store our chicken feed. So as you can see at the bottom, there is a pipe that goes from below the bins all the way into the barn. So we're really lucky here in Manitoba to be able to raise birds all year round. And one of the reasons why we're able to do that is because we raise them inside a barn. Now there's three major reasons why we're able to do that. One of them being temperature. As you can see, there's snow on the ground here and it's too cold for the birds to be outside. Inside the barn, it's nice and warm. A second reason why we're able to raise them indoors, why we raise them indoors, is for predators. Coyotes, wolves, foxes, all those kind of animals are predators to chickens. So keeping them in a barn keeps them safe from those animals. And the third reason why we keep them indoors is we want our birds to be healthy when we raise them. And so keeping them indoors, we can take measures such as biosecurity to prevent any disease from coming inside the barn. All right, now I want to take you inside to see my 3-day-old chicks. Come on in. Alright, so these are the controllers that pretty much run the entire barn. These controllers, with technology now, we are able to monitor way more things than we ever have been. So some of the things that we have on here is we have sensors throughout the entire barn that give us the temperature at all parts of the barn. So we always know that the barn temperature is consistent throughout the entire barn. These controllers also monitor humidity in the barn, how high it gets, how low it gets. We are able to lower the temperature automatically. As the birds get older, the barn needs to be cooler, so these controllers can automatically bring those temperatures down. Another thing that's really great about these controllers is for lighting programs, we have dark periods overnight so that the birds have time to rest. So these controllers gradually bring the lighting down until it's dark, and then raise it back up when it's time for them to get up in the morning. And the great thing about these things is they can call our cell phones. If there's a problem, we're able to check the barn with this controller whenever we need to. So now we're gonna go into the barn, but first, the big important thing we gotta do is change our boots and sanitize our hands. All right, guys, you ready to go in? Here we go. All right, as you can see, we are now inside the chicken barn, and it's nice and warm in here, and these are just one of the things I love. I love coming into the barn here and checking on the birds every day, multiple times. Growing up on the farm here, wasn't always a fan of working in the barn because it required me to go and do chores every single day. So grade 4 to grade 5, not always a fan. But as I grew up through junior high and through high school, I was learning to love it more and enjoyed it way more. And after grade 12, I actually took a year off because I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do with my career and my future. And so I worked full-time here on the farm. So I was working here in the chicken barns, but I was also working in the fields, driving tractor, and just doing a whole lot more stuff on the farm. And that caused me to actually decide to go to university at the U of M to the Ag Diploma program, and where I got my diploma in agriculture. So as you can see here now, I'm going to tell you more about what's going on here in the barn. So what we have here on the ground is bedding, and this bedding is actually wheat straw. Wheat straw that we harvested off of our fields, and it's pretty much the stalk of the wheat plant. So what happens is when we harvest it, the stalks of the plant get all chopped up, and we bale them and bring them here into the barn to use as bedding for the birds. It's a great bedding, the birds find it very comfortable, and they're able to act out their natural behaviors such as dust bathing and just peck around in the straw. So as you can see behind me, the chickens are able to run anywhere and everywhere throughout the barn. We call this free run. And so there's no cages in any Manitoba broiler farms or actually across the entire country. We're all cage-free for broiler chicken operations. Now, they have access to feed and water all the time because you can see that the water lines and the feeder lines go all the way to the back end of the barn. Now, I have right beside me, it's a little easier to see, these are the water lines, okay? So this is how the chickens get their water. And how it works is there's these little silver tabs underneath here. We call these water nipples. And what happens is when the chicken pecks at that silver nipple, because it's shiny and chickens are curious little animals, they peck at that silver tab and it allows fresh water to come out of the tap. They stop pecking at it, the water stops. And what's great about these water systems is that they're all enclosed. So there's no debris, there's no dust or any bacteria that can get into the system. So they always are able to drink clean, fresh water all the time. Now, the one right beside it here is the feed pans. Now, what we have underneath the feed pans is chick paper. Now, we put chick paper down when they're young because it attracts the chicks to where the feed is. Now, when the chicks run on this paper, it makes noise, and the chicks like the sound of that noise, so it attracts them to this. We also put extra feed on the paper so that they have nowhere to come for the feed. Now, inside the feed pan here is where the feed actually is. And in this pipe right here is an auger. So an auger is pretty much a coil that turns and moves the feed through the pipe and puts it into every single feed pan. So a common question that we do get is, what do chickens eat? So here is a sample of what the birds actually eat. It is filled with grains, minerals, proteins, and vitamins to give them a healthy, nutritious diet. So a common misconception that we often do get is, are there hormones and steroids put inside the chicken feed? That is absolutely false. Since the 1960s, hormones and steroids have been illegal to be given to broiler chickens. So it's only good, nutritious feed that is given to our broilers. So these birds are currently 3 days old, and they'll be ready for market in about 28 to 33 days. Now you may be wondering, well, that's pretty quick. Well, there's a number of reasons why they're able to grow so quickly. One, the genetic makeup of the bird. The second one is the feed, what I talked about before. Healthy, nutritious feed helps them grow quickly. And the last thing that helps them grow quickly is just us taking care of them and managing them and walking through the barns daily and multiple times to make sure everything is running really smoothly. Now, once they've hit their target weight or their markets, then they get taken out of the barn, and then we're left with a dirty barn. Now, this bedding is then called litter or manure, what we call it. And the manure is then taken out with a tractor, and we actually spread it on our fields, which is a great source of fertilizer, and that we can use for plant food for our grain crops. Now, once the manure is taken out of the barn, then we take a pressure washer, we wash the barn completely to make sure it's all clean of any organic matter or debris so that it's nice and clean for the next flock of chickens that come. Thanks so much for joining me on this tour of my chicken barn. I am super proud to be a part of an industry that can provide healthy local chicken for your family and for my family all year round.